At this time, we would like to welcome the Honorable Mayor Steve Noble to, I was going to say to council chambers, but he has been sitting here listening to us to deliver his annual State of the City address. So, Mayor Noble.
Well, thank you, President Schott. We're just going to take a moment to make sure that we're set up out here for the audience as well. It'll take just one more second for the Zoom to get everybody connected. And we should hopefully be able to have the same presentation on that monitor as well for you guys to see some of the pictures that we've included as part of tonight's speech. But first, I would like to just welcome everyone here, both in person and virtually joining us. And thank you for listening to our State of the City. I'd first like to thank the Common Council for inviting me, and again, apologizing that my back is to you all, as it is each and every year that we do this. But I do want to also thank and acknowledge the new council members that we have with us here this evening. Councilwoman Barbara Hill, Carl Frankel, Naima Muhammad, and Michael Oliveri, welcome. And I really also want to just say welcome to all of the familiar faces that are with us again this cycle, and would also like to just take a moment to congratulate Barbara on being sworn in as our new Corporation Council. We really look forward to working with you and also all of the council members as we move forward in this year and in this time. As we get started this evening, this time last year, I had the opportunity because of the pandemic, we had to give this speech virtually, distant. None of us were meeting in person. And so for us, it's wonderful to be able to be back here again. But as we continue to, endure this pandemic, we'd hoped that we would have been back to normal by now, and that Zoom would be a thing of the past. But unfortunately, COVID has continued to deal us many challenges over the last few years, and it appears that we do still have a few left in store. Kingston, you have been courageous, resilient, and compassionate. And with heartfelt gratitude, I want to appreciate our healthcare workers, our teachers, our essential workers, and all of those that kept their businesses operating and their homes safe during these really difficult times that we have experienced over the last 2 years. Though we are all fatigued, I know that we will carry the same resiliency into this new year and into this next phase of recovery. If we continue to offer our neighbors a helping hand, if we ask for assistance when we need it, our community can and will keep moving forward together. This year marks the 150th anniversary of the city of Kingston. In 1872, the villages of Roundout, Kingston. Sorry, we'll give that 1 second to. Now we're good. In 1872, the villages of Roundout, Kingston, and Wilbur came together to form the new unified city. Today, I call on all of our residents, new and long time, to make 2022 the year of uniting. The first State of the City speech given in 1872 by Mayor James Lindsley started out, "The duties and responsibilities that have devolved upon us call for energy without precipitancy, care in devising, and courage in execution." He's referring to the challenges the community faced as 3 villages combined. But those words are more resonant today. We need energy, care, and courage now more than ever. In his 1872 speech, Mayor Lindsley goes on, "The construction and maintenance of the roadways and a comprehensive system of sewerage will demand our early consideration." Mayor Lindsley was also concerned with organizing an efficient system of police and erecting a new firehouse. Though at the time, the pressing concern was to build streets to connect the 3 villages in a coordinated way, these are still significant concerns for our city some 15 decades later and 35 mayors later. Building safe and accessible roadways, rebuilding the 150-year-old sewer system, taking a close look at our policing practices, and repairing our central fire station. In addition to the ongoing pandemic and our severe housing crisis, I believe one of our biggest challenges in 2022 is the painful division in our nation, state, and our own local community. In order to accomplish our goals of rebuilding our roads and vital infrastructure, ensuring every member of our community is fed and housed, and making meaningful change of our policing methods, it will take a coordinated and collective effort. Together, we can heal the divides, because we can only move forward if we are working with one another, helping each other along. Despite the lingering pandemic and the rocky economy left in its wake, the fiscal state of Kingston remains robust. We acted early, utilizing sound budgeting techniques and conservative spending, while maintaining services for residents and keeping the city running. The New York State Comptroller's Office gave Kingston a fiscal stress score of 1.7 out of 100 for 2020, our best score to date. Because of our strong financial standing, I was able to deliver a 2022 budget that, without raising taxes for the 7th year in a row, expands vital services for our residents. We added 22 new full-time jobs across many departments, including 3 police officers, 5 DPW workers, 4 project managers who will oversee an ever-expanding portfolio of projects. 2021 turned out to be nearly as challenging as 2020. But with our secure financial footing and our learned experience dealing with the pandemic's hardships, we were braced to withstand the tough times. Despite scaled back budgets, we were able to finish or move forward many significant projects. I know it's hard to remember now that it's a smoothly paved road, but we had some major construction on Broadway last year. Starting with the sewer work beneath Broadway and the sidewalks along the Midtown corridor, the streetscape project has come a long way. Due to supply chain issues, we were just today able to turn on all of our new signals so that this thoroughfare now has an active bicycle track, working signals, and will move traffic much more smoothly across the Midtown Business District. In 2021, New York State DOT completed the roundabout, creating a beautiful and efficient gateway to our city. At the other end of Broadway streetscape project, the Grand Street intersection has been realigned for safety and accessibility, and a blighted eyesore has been removed, making way for much needed green space. In addition to these projects, the Department of Public Works paved 16 streets with 12,500 tons of blacktop in 2021. Early last year, the Hudson River Brickyard Trail, a part of the statewide Empire State Trail, opened and gave us a beautiful place to stroll along our waterfront. The Parks and Recreation Department made upgrades at playgrounds at Barman and Raquel Knox parks, installing a pour-in-place safety surface, the first of its kind in the city, and brand new play equipment. A new soccer field and parking lot were created at Kingston Point Park, and an exciting splash pad was installed at Andretta Pool, which also got some much-needed improvements. In 2021, the Grants Management Office assisted city departments with a portfolio of over 60 grant projects funded by $60 million in awards from state and federal agencies and private foundations. These are crucial projects for economic development, health and wellness, historic preservation, and sustainability that benefit the entire community. Last year, we were steadfast in our commitment to sustainability. We updated our greenhouse gas emissions inventory, and in doing so, we are able to report that the City of Kingston achieved and surpassed its original greenhouse gas emissions target, with data showing that almost a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions over the last 10 years with city government operations. In 2021, we advanced legislation to protect our air quality with the adoption of anti-idling legislation, and also adopted the New York Stretch Energy Code, which is a pathway towards compliance that is more aggressive than the state's current energy code, achieving greater energy savings in buildings. Our park improvements included those at Kingston Point and Block Park, incorporated resilience to sea level rise, and expanded the use of green infrastructure as a solution. And despite the pandemic, we continued to deliver quality environmental education programming to youth and adults throughout the community, serving thousands in our schools and parks. 2 of our significant initiatives completed in 2021 will be before the council in early this year for ratification, including the Climate Action Plan 2030 and the Arts and Cultural Master Plan. With the Climate Action Plan 2030, the city will build on our substantial progress, and we will continue sustainability efforts by committing to reducing greenhouse gas emissions community-wide an additional 50% in the next 8 years. With the Arts and Cultural Master Plan, we will demonstrate our deep appreciation and commitment to support our rich creative community. In 2021, the Kingston Forward Citywide Rezoning Initiative got underway, which will completely overhaul our outdated code. The rezoning project is a Herculean effort that was kicked off with a series of public meetings and community input. Form-based code encourages revitalization, promotes affordable housing, spurs small business growth, promotes walkability, and will help us preserve what makes Kingston unique. So yes, despite the pandemic and its ongoing effects, we have made much progress here in the city of Kingston, and we will continue this great work into the new year. We may know many of our friends and neighbors in Kingston suffered during the pandemic. Families lost loved ones. We had over 3,700 COVID cases in Kingston alone, and unfortunately that number keeps growing. And we have lost more than 55 of our residents since the pandemic began. We will never forget all of the heartache that this virus has caused. Our local community has also suffered due to the pandemic, but help is around the corner. The city of Kingston will receive approximately $17 million in federal aid for spending over the next 5 years. After much public engagement, we have been diligently working to create an economic recovery plan that utilizes these funds for the good of all of our residents. The economic recovery plan will incorporate community input, will build upon current projects, and will support new initiatives that spur recovery. Our aim is to build on the city's existing resources, opportunities, and past planning efforts, and to provide funding in areas of sustained future growth that will bolster Kingston's local economy. We expect to have a plan to be ready to present to the public in early 2022, and then quickly get this crucial funding into the community. This year, we will move forward with many housing initiatives that will help create housing at all income levels and safeguard tenants' rights. We have hired a new director of housing initiatives. We'll implement our anti-displacement grants. We'll look at all available resources and opportunities to increase affordable housing, and we'll further the Kingston Forward Rezoning Project. Together with the Common Council, we hope to pass good cause eviction legislation in early 2022, one of the many initiatives to protect our tenants from rising rental costs and unfair evictions. Today, I'm happy to announce that in partnership with Family of Woodstock, we have identified 2 vacant lots where we will build tiny homes, 81 Cedar Street and 78 Franklin. We look forward to working with Family of Woodstock and moving the tiny homes project forward in 2022. I am committed to ensuring that all residents have adequate, safe housing, and my administration will be pursuing all avenues to realize this effort. In the wake of the murder of George Floyd, the City of Kingston formed the Re-Envision Public Safety Task Force. 13 community members did extensive research into policing practices and policies to deliver a comprehensive list of recommendations, which the Common Council ratified in April. In 2022, we want to take our commitment one step further and turn these concepts into real change. The city is working with the Peaceful Guardians Project to develop concrete plans for applying the task force's recommendations. With the help of the Peaceful Guardians, we will present to the public a 2-pronged approach with a 1-year plan for immediate implementation and a longer 5-year plan for the loftier goals. I, along with the Kingston Police Department, take very seriously our role in maintaining public safety, ensuring fair and equitable treatment for all communities, and protecting our residents with integrity. I thank the men and women of the Kingston Police Department who proudly serve our city and do so with the best interest at heart. Our city is 150 years old. We have a storied history and distinctive architecture. We also have a lot of work to keep up our infrastructure sound and modern. This takes planning, funding, and grants, and a lot of patience. In 2022, substantial work will proceed on the Wirt Street Bridge. I'd like to thank New York State DOT and Assemblyman Kevin Cahill for supporting and funding the $45 million 2-year rehab of this historic bridge. Other major projects that will progress and or be completed in 2022 include the Elmendorf Street Bridge, several Midtown sewer repairs, the safe and accessible Flatbush and Foxhall project, Wilbur Avenue paving. We'll also be upgrading 3 Midtown parking lots with green infrastructure, and we will get started on the Franklin and Henry Street Complete Streets projects. In addition to renovating Schwenk Drive and Clinton Avenue as part of our DRI Uptown Transportation Project, our last remaining DRI project will also progress, the Transformational Kingstonian project. Once complete, the Kingstonian will double the current municipal parking in that space, provide a public plaza with public restrooms, and will create 143 units, including 14 units dedicated to workforce housing, while meeting the National Green Building Standards Bronze certification for environmentally friendly buildings. As the third mayor who has sought to redevelop this site, I look forward to seeing this beneficial project get the final approvals and move forward in 2022. In our efforts to continue to protect the water quality of the Roundout Creek and Hudson River, we will begin a $9 million project at the wastewater treatment plant to modernize and improve the facility, which serves the city of Kingston and parts of the town of Ulster and town of Esopus. This fall, we will begin construction on an $18 million 2-year project to renovate and modernize our beloved Dietz Stadium. Together with the Kingston City School District, we will be revitalizing the stadium and grounds with a new scoreboard, grandstand upgrades, brand new locker rooms, press box renovation, track and turf resurfacing, new parking lot with green infrastructure, a beautiful gateway, and so much more. Once completed, we will have a state-of-the-art facility that will compete on the state level and will continue to be an asset to all of our residents who use Dietz Stadium on a daily basis. You've heard me say this before, with progress, there is discomfort. For all of these necessary and transformative projects, there will be construction. But construction is the sign of progress. So you will see a lot of progress ahead. In addition to the many streets, sewers, and sidewalk projects, the 2022 budget includes 22 additional city staff positions, which provide services to make a difference in every Kingston resident's life. The streets will be safer, the parks and green spaces will be better maintained, and overall quality of life will be improved. During my tenure as mayor, it has been my commitment to build and retain a diverse, inclusive workforce. My new recruitment and retention plan, which was unveiled during the 2022 budget process, will help us keep our valuable city employees with starting salary increases and will help draw well-qualified candidates to vacant positions. We have built a strong, capable team to better serve our residents, and I thank each and every city employee. From the fire department for the 5,000 calls they attended to last year, to the building department, which saw a dramatic increase in permits and inspections, to the water department and the wastewater treatment plant workers who provide us with clean water, from the men and women of the Department of Public Works for making sure our streets are clean and cared for each week, to the Parks and Recreation Department for providing programming and safe refuge for our families and children, to the Police Department for answering over 20,000 calls for service, and to the staff at City Hall who serve as a variety of residents' needs each and every day. In May, we will celebrate 150th anniversary of our fair city. We will have a series of celebrations, and the work on the City Hall Tower will be completed, as will the beautiful lunettes here in Council Chambers, which are currently being repaired and restored as we speak. It's important to celebrate how far we have come as a community, cherish and continue the preservation of our most valued assets, both environmental and historical, and to plan for the next generations. In the time it took for me to give this speech today, hundreds of people have driven smoothly from our waterfront district through a bustling midtown and into our historic uptown. That would not have been possible 1 year ago. It has taken patience and understanding to get through these last 2 years, the pandemic and the road work. I can't promise an easy road ahead, but I do know that when we approach our challenges with compassion together, the path is smoother and the journey safer. The city can rebuild a road, but it takes each of us to walk across that street and speak to our neighbors, to bridge the divides, both physical and political. Mayor Lindsley recognized back in 1872 putting aside local prejudice and personal interest, let us bring to our work a singleness of purpose and desire to benefit our whole city. I call on the folks of Kingston once again to put aside prejudices and personal interests and work with a singleness of purpose. Let's move forward and heal as a community. Let's push ourselves and our city to be all that we can be. We are making progress and we won't stop now. If we work together with energy, care, and courage, we can accomplish anything. Thank you very much.
May I please have resolution number 5 of 2022, please?
Resolution 5 of 2022, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, recommending approval for receiving the mayor's message.
On the question, Alderman Tony Davis.
For that damn